Hello again and welcome to the Situation Room on ChannelOne television. My name is Umaru Sandama. The Situation Room is a show that tracks the election for you on ChannelOne television. We bring you the show every Thursday with a repeat in the week, and it's a show that analyzes the big stories for you. And boy, are we going to do some analysis for you today. I don't do this alone. I have my regular sidekick, Sami Uyafi, who is here with me. Hello, Sami. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you.
I have to start calling you the bald-headed Sami Uyafi. I think it's a nicer title.
And you will be referred to as?
No, the Punky Joe. Punky Joe is fine. And we've dragged in also our producer and our boss, Fred Tete Jabano. Fredo, how are you?
Fredo, Mr. Jabano.
Yeah, we should find him a nickname.
Very soon.
Yeah, Fredo. Well. How's it going? The week looking good? The week ending well?
So far, so good.
You know, when a journalist asks a fellow journalist if the week is going good, it means are there big stories or not? If there's no story, the week is boring. So we call it a dry week.
The other ones too.
There's a dry week. Which other ones?
We'll talk about that later.
Don't be saying things you cannot defend in public.
The week has been good. It's been good.
How is the president doing?
He's well.
He's fine. He's in Ghana?
Yes, in Ghana.
When is he going to join the campaign? Because Bawumia is campaigning, Napo is campaigning, Bawumia's wife is campaigning, Napo's wife is campaigning. When is President Akufo-Addo and Theresa? Hey, did I say Theresa? Forgive me. Rebecca Akufo-Addo will go into.
The president will join the campaign after he returns from the UN General Assembly, which is this month. It's starting, I think, on the 19th. And then he speaks on the 20th or 21st. And then when he's done, he comes back to Ghana and he hears the campaign trail. I'm told that he will start from the eastern region when he returns.
It means that from October, the government finished.
Everything comes to an end.
We they can't fight for, let's see. Nice. Anyway, when we come back, I'll tell you what the issues on the table are. Please stay with us. You're welcome back. So it's a race to election 2024. But before you can be on the ballots, there's a lot that has to be done. First of all, you have to declare an intent, yes. You have to satisfy the constitutional provisions. Then you have to go to the Electoral Commission, which is the body that manages elections in Ghana. And you have to satisfy some key issues that will be raised by the commission. You have to return nomination forms. Nomination forms have to be endorsed and signed by the appropriate people at the appropriate places. All of this has to be done. The Electoral Commission set out last week to do that. So it's received the nominations from all the persons who want to be president. As of the beginning of the week, we're told about 33 people had picked forms, so the expectation was that 33 people would be returning. And if they are all passed, you would have maybe the longest ballot paper ever issued here in Ghana, at least for the presidential election. But not all the 33 returned their forms, and even those who have returned, not everybody will make it. The Electoral Commission is yet to make a determination. So here on the show, we're going to tell you who and who made it, who these people are. That's the first part of the show. The second part of the show, we're going to look at the impact of independent candidates, which of them has been doing well or which of them do we expect to do well, based on history, based on the data, based on their interactions. We'll look at that. Issue number 3, we're going to look at polls that have come through. There's a poll that is suggesting something about Bawumia and Mahama. There's another poll, 2 polls that we'll be analyzing for you here on the Situation Room. My name is Umaru Sandama, like I said, and I'm in studio with Sami Uyafi and Fred Tete Jabano. The 2 of them are going to help us with the analysis for the Electoral Commission's nominations and those who have made it so far. Sami and Fred, please take it over.
Thank you very much, Umaru. Fred. So, as you're aware, the Electoral Commission opened nomination for persons who are seeking to lead the country as the President of the Republic. The deadline for submission was, I think, last week, Friday.
Yes, that was the last day.
Last week, Friday. Then they had the list of people who had, filed their nomination. We already know the number of people who came in, those on the ticket of political parties and those who are running as independent presidential candidates. For the numbers given by the Electoral Commission, about 23 or 24 people, 23 people successfully submitted their...
Out of 33?
Yes.
So 10 did not make it?
10 did not make it. Their documents to be vetted by the EC. The EC had already announced that they were going to set up, or they have set up 2 technical committees that will review the details of whatever inputs that was made in the form. And so after this review, it will officially come out and announce those who have officially qualified to be referred to as candidates ahead of the December election. And those who did not make it, the Electoral Commission will also announce those who've been disqualified in this. We've seen this before. In 2016, quite a number of candidates were disqualified. In 2020, we saw same as well. So Fred and I will take you through those who were, those who filed, successfully filed their nomination in two folds. First, those on the ticket of political parties and those who ran as independent candidates during the filing process. So Fred, we'll start with those who are filing as independent
presidential candidates. Yes, so we had 12 people filing as independent presidential candidates as of Friday when the nominations came to a close. We start with Alan John Tremantin. He is representing the yellow group.
The yellow group.
Yes, Afafranto, the butterfly.
the movement for change.
He filed Friday. He named his running mate on during the week. His running mate is a young man, a lawyer,
a former musician, a lawyer, someone who's had a sting in the media. I think he still does media. He still does
media.
He's still in the media.
He works with Pan-African TV. A son-in-law of Kwesi Pratt. He filed on Friday. He filed during the week last week. We have Nana Kwame Bediako Cheddar, Freedom Jacob Caesar, and the other names he comes with, also filing during the week. We had Samuel Appiah Dankwa, Sami, your own Samuel Appiah Dankwa.
My very good friend.
Yes, Samuel Appiah Dankwa. He also came with the Yellow Party initially, but could not complete the registration of the party, so had to file as an independent candidate. We have George Chumberema. George Chumberema lived his life in the United States for a while before returning to the country, and he believes that he thinks that it's now time for Ghana to go independent, and he is one of the people who raised concerns with even the description given to people called independent candidates. He feels like everybody should be called a presidential candidate, and let's take away the independent from it. But he still remains an independent candidate because
so far the laws have not changed. We can't refer them to any other name.
Because he's not affiliated to any party. He's going alone. We have Desmond Abrefa. Desmond Abrefa is a young man, a businessman, who also is seeking to lead this country as an independent country, a presidential candidate. Nana Stevens, a Japan, is also there. We have Paul Perkon, he's there. James Kwesi Opong is also there. We have Reverend Dr. John Pipi. Reverend Dr. John Pipi runs a school. He's a man of God. He's into ministry, Christian ministry. He has been in the education field for a long time. He runs a New Nation school somewhere around East Legon, Ajengano. He also wants to be president. Sami, and your friend, Dr. Samankra, he came into the news especially during the days of the unmasking of the
new force leader.
The new force leader.
The new force leader.
He indicated that he was a leader of the new force. It was debunked. He went quiet, but he managed to file his nominations to run as president. We have Ni Amudakon. Ni Amudakon has attempted before to run as president, but never been on the ballot. He wants to try it again this time around. He's filed his nominations. And Umaru Sanda's very good friend. Kofi Cranton, the slangs man. He, last 4 years, tried to run as president. He did not get onto the ballot. He's trying for a second time to
this time around he will be lucky.
How do you know he'll be lucky?
I'm saying maybe this time around.
Okay. He's trying to be on the ballot again. Let's see what will happen.
So, but you know, we have 10 individuals running as independent.
These are more than 10 individuals. These are 12 individuals.
Okay.
I think there's one more person we did not add to it. There are two more people, two more women we did not add. Janet Nabla.
Yeah.
Janet Nabla, even though she was forming the PMP political party, that political party was not, the formation could not be completed. So she had to file as an independent candidate. And there was then this other lady, Ikia, I've forgotten the name. She also ran as an independent candidate. But when you look at these people, and we follow the campaigns of these people, we realize that there are two of them who stand out. Even though the others are still campaigning, when you look at the polls which have come out released by various pollsters, Musa Dakwa and other people, there are two people whose name come out as independent candidates who seem to be doing well. And these two people are John Alan Tremantin and Nana Kwame Bediako. Cheddar.
Okay.
You look at polls from Musa Dankwa in our previous episodes, it always shows that Cheddar and Alan were neck to neck. There's a poll which was released quite recently, and it also indicated that these two gentlemen seem to be doing well amongst the electorate. When we look at these two and the conversations which have taken place, and even the polls, you realize that one of them would be a distant third away from the two major political parties, the NDC and the NPP. So
from what the polls coming out, I mean, they will even perform better than those who may be standing on the ticket of political
other
parties.
Political parties, the smaller political parties. It looks like these two gentlemen, Alan Tremantin and Nana Kwame Bediako, will be performing better than some of these smaller parties. These two gentlemen.
Are you sure it's going to be a distant third? Maybe this time around there may be a near third.
No, Sana, it will be a distant because from all the polls that we have read, you know, and quite a number of them have come through, they make the mark, but when you look at them and the two main political parties, the gap is very wide. Very, very wide.
But
so
there's
more reason why.
There's a clamor for a third force. People are saying they're tired of NDC people.
I've always had argument with you on this. I've always had argument with you.
You don't agree that
it will never happen.
It
will never happen.
Why would you say never?
We've always had argument on this matter. And the electoral, history shows. In 2000 and was it 12 or 16, PPP, which year? Was it 2012 or 2016?
2000.
Yeah, the expectation was that.
If you're talking about Indum.
No, I mean Indum PPP.
No, Indum did well as PPP, not PPP.
Yes, as so no.
At PPP, no guarantee.
Per the formation of the PPP, the conclusion was that the same vim in 2008 will be brought on to the formation of the PPP.
But the 2008 vim didn't end
But even the 2008, exactly, the 2008.
So a lot of people thought that PPP was going to be the third option Ghanaians were looking for.
I know, I'm saying that was how many years ago? That's 16 years
and
ago.
It will never change.
Sami?
Why do you say so?
It will never
it can
change.
happen elsewhere. It can happen here.
I think, Sanda, I don't think any of these people will make 10% of the vote.
10%, you've given us.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. If I give you 10%, it means that you are a bit close.
I am thinking you never know. They may just pull up a 10%.
Well, combine all these independent candidates. If the Electoral Commission gives all of them the go-ahead to contest, I'm predicting none of them will even make the mark. All of them combined will be less than 5%.
Even Alan Tremantin,
less than 5%.
The son of Kumasi, the son
less
of
than
Ashanti
5%. Combine all 12 of them. Less than 5%.
Sanda, that question will bring me to my next discussion. Alan Tremantin and what people expect of his performance. Looking at the discussions and the polls and the conversations happening around and with voters and electorates and everything, it does not look like Alan Tremantin may come third. From how the polls are going, it looks like Nana Kwame Bediako would come a distant third ahead of Alan Tremantin. Why do we say so? When we follow the campaign and you follow the discussions amongst the young people and amongst the general populace, you'd realize that there are a group of people who seem to be the majority of the electorates in this country. This group of people are the youth, the young people ranging between 18 and somewhere like 45. When you look at the number...
I accept.
Yes, Sami's age group. When you look, the Sami's age group is the 45, the 40, the youthful side.
I'm not even 40 yet. But I accept it. When old age is wisdom. So I accept.
When you look at the electorates and you do the breakdowns, you realize that 18 to 45 make majority of the voters, and these are young people.
And Nana Kwame Bediako falls within that category.
Exactly.
So he will get their vote.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. It looks like he's going to perform better than Alan Tremantin.
Oh, really?
Look at his message. The message, his target group, where he's campaigning. even the responses you are getting when you go on social media, you go on X, you go on Facebook, and you sample the independent candidates, you realize that Nana Bediako receives a lot of support than
So it resonates more with the people.
And then
Alan
more.
is a guy who has been there for a long time, but Cheddar is like the new force.
Exactly.
That's essential. Even though Alan is working to be the new force, Cheddar may be beating him to that
Alan
because of the people Cheddar
is seen as part of the establishment because he's been part of the MPP for a very long time. He's run within the MPP cycles, run as presidential candidate.
Akufo was minister for 7 years.
Was minister under Akufo, was minister under Akufo-Addo. He's seen as somebody within the establishment. This gentleman, Nana Bediako, is seen as a new face, a fresh face, which people, especially the young people, are looking out for. So from conversations, from polls and other discussions within the media, and social media and everywhere, it looks like Nana Bediako may go ahead of Alan Tremantin.
But my fellow my secondary school mate, Samuel Appiah Dankwa, is also a new face. He's also youthful. Why are you taking it over his head?
Yes, he's youthful. He has a nice message.
But he doesn't have money.
He doesn't
have a very small car, painted yellow, sprayed yellow with yellow.
I don't think his message has gotten down to the level it needs to go to.
And the popularity, I'm not sure anymore.
He doesn't have over 5,000.
He doesn't have visibility. If you want to.
That's money. It's called money. He doesn't have billboards. Cheddar has a billboard in every corner.
And interesting. Talking about Cheddar, we don't know the running mate of Cheddar.
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know whether he has
presented his form.
We don't know whether he has given one to the EC or not.
Yeah, we are hoping he has.
Why are we hoping?
Because you see, it was part of the requirements.
Yeah.
It was part of the requirements.
Maybe he didn't know.
He said after the filing, he said he was going to do an unmasking of it. So probably he's waiting for a special event to unmask his.
He made an attempt to get Samia Nkrumah on the ticket, but we understand.
Really?
Yeah. The information was that he attempted to get Samia Nkrumah on board, but Samia declined that offer. The more we know, Samia is going to run as an independent parliamentary candidate, I think in the Jomoro constituency.
She's going back to Jomoro.
She's going back to parliament.
But she went on a hiatus for all these years.
She's declared intention to go back to parliament.
She filed
as
to
an
contest the
independent
Jomoro
parliamentary candidate.
Interesting, yeah. Jomoro. Okay.
Still on the independent candidates, let's come back to Alan Tremantin. There are people who believe, there's a school of thought, and there are people who believe that Alan Tremantin is running an account-based campaign. His target is the MPP. That's the belief of some people, that Alan Tremantin is not really in to win the election.
So he's there to scuttle the MPP?
He's there to scuttle the chances of the MPP. Whether that is possible, we cannot tell.
Okay, one question to the two of you. Would Alan be able to harvest MPP members beyond the Aubameyang Samoa and the former General Secretary?
Oh yeah, it's likely he will be, but you ask how many?
Yeah, because when he was contesting, he had MPs supporting him. As soon as he said he's going, they said, Charlie, any Baba.
Definitely, and these same members of MPs who were supporting him have also filed to contest on the ticket of the MPP in their various constituencies.
But could it be that Alan has silent, angry MPP members?
In every political party, you always have people who are disgruntled. MPP will not hide or run away from such things. A lot of MPP supporters are angry with the system and disgruntled. But as to whether they will leave the MPP and go and vote for Alan Tremantin is also a different question. It's also a different thing for them to know. Would they want to leave a party that has a possibility of winning an election to go and follow someone whose chances are not very, very clear?
So they're going to be watchman in government than to go and be general secretary?
The best option available to them is to maybe stay off from voting at all. That's the best option for them. But really leaving MPP to go and vote for Alan, I doubt if they really want to do that.
I see.
And Kwame Owusu-Darko, Alan's running mate, is one person who has come into question. People are basing his choice of a running mate to back their argument that Alan is doing is going about an account-based campaign, in the sense that when you look at the major political parties over the years, from 1979, I'll take you back to that data, every major political party has had a presidential candidate or a running mate, either an Akan or from outside, usually from the north. Usually from the north. But this time round, Alan has gone for an Akan.
Except Rollins, of course. Rollins is the only one who broke that.
Yes, but you see, Rollins was not Akan.
That's what I'm saying. And his candidate...
Yes, Rollins was not Akan.
Okay, so you're not saying south-north. You're saying
so we are
Akan.
Akan.
Okay, where you are adding Fanti to Akan.
Where we are adding Fantis to Akan.
Okay.
So the Akan ethnic group. So you have the... from 1979. Let me take you to that data to prove to you. In 1979, we had the PNP, the People's National Party, led by Dr. Hila Lehman, who was his running mate. We had DeGraff Johnson. The other major political party in that particular group was the PFP, the Popular Front Party, Victor Wusu. Who did we have? Alhaji Yakubu Tali, who was from the north.
Who has the passport, as a passport? Tamale Airport named after him.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think he was a Tolona at that time or so.
Yes, the Tolona.
The Tolona,
yes. You come to 1992. 1992, NDC, Jerry John Rawlings, Cole Kinson and Aka. MPP, Professor Albert Dubois, Roland Isifu. You come to 96, NDC, Jerry John Rawlings, Professor Tamils. John Kufuor did it again with an Akan candidate, a running mate, called Kinson Aka, but there was a reason.
The alliance.
The alliance, not just the alliance. You had a sitting running vice president, which changed the discussion at the time. So there was an alliance, but then there was a sitting running vice president who was his running mate, which changed the dynamics. Even that, they lost the election in 96. In 2000, you have Professor John Evans Atamils again. Who was his running mate? Umaru Sanda.
Martin Alamisi Benz Kaiser Amidu.
Exactly. MPP.
From Upper East.
John Kufuor, Aliu Mahama.
From Northern Region.
From Northern Region. 2004, John Evans Atamils. Mohamed Mumuni.
Kumbu.
Yeah.
John Ajekun Kufuor, Aliu Mahama. President, Vice President. 2008, Professor Mills, John Mahama. Then we had Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia. These has been the trend since 79. And these are the major political parties which went on to win elections. So the argument is, if you are really serious about winning an election, you need to look national. And in looking national, you are looking from the south and the north. The south being John Alan Tremantin, and maybe going for a northern candidate.
So I interviewed Yabobian Samoa, the director of... Is he still director of... I'm not sure what it's...
No,
but he's a member of the
movement
for
candidate.
Change. Well, the day they announced their running mate, I said, why didn't you go north? Why didn't you choose an Ever? Why did you have to choose someone from where Alan is? He said they look within and they believe that they wanted someone youthful, and this was the best person.
Exactly the argument.
And he said he would not agree for me to even push into the north thing. And that there are candidates in the past who have chosen north candidates, south candidate, it didn't work out for them. So he didn't see that happening. So for them, they had a target. They needed someone very youthful. He kept emphasizing on the youthful. And they thought that this is the best person they can settle on.
And the argument is that this election, when you look at electoral roll, you have a large number of voters being first-time voters. And the majority of them, as you mentioned, from the age gap to 30-45, are those considered to be the youth. Don't look at me that way. Are those considered to be the youth? So if Alan's target is the youth, he may want to bring a person or a running mate who is considered to be a youth or a youthful person.
A musician.
A musician. He's done hit for
what's his song?
Golo
Shake
Golo.
Your Golo Golo.
I'm sure after the show, Hansi will play for us. and so right, the target is the youth. And you know that the major political parties, John Mahama did a youth manifesto or something.
NDC.
Dr. Bawumia is also targeting the youth. So now the target for all the political party is the youth. So if Alan decides to go and bring a youthful person to partner him, obviously he knows where he's going, he knows the target.
But so there's someone who asked me, so does it mean they didn't get any youth from the north?
Maybe they did their vetting and they realized that this young man...
The whole north, the whole 5 regions of them.
You see, the argument also is that, you see, you are looking at an individual people can connect to. this is a young man who has been in the entertainment industry for a very long time.
And in the media.
And in the media for a long
I've come
time.
for Sami. Sami has been in this media for long.
Sami was not
But
interested.
Sami is Akan.
Sami was not
I'm
interested.
not
And he's
interested.
also
Should have come
Akan.
for you, you're Agan.
Let me do my small corner.
Allah would have come for you, Agan. Let's take a break. This is Channel One television. The show is Situation Room. My name is Umaru Sandawadi here with Sami Biafi and Fred Tete Jabano. We're just walking you through so Fred was taking us through the historical data on the choice of running mate. Alan choosing a running mate from his backyard, and that's what we are analyzing. But we're also looking at the impact of independent candidates. Cheddar likely to overtake Alan Chemantin. That's at least what the analysis is looking like. But of course, the Ghanaians will decide that at the end of the day on December 7th. When we come back, we'll look into the polls. What are the polls also saying? And who are the other candidates who are going to possibly make it to the ballot paper on December 7th? You're welcome back. This is the Situation Room on Channel One television. We're doing some analysis for you before we went on the break. We'll go back to that. Fred, please continue.
Yeah, so we spoke about the independent candidates, the two leading independent candidates, Alan John Tremantin and Nana Bediakon, who we said will be the two leading candidates. Now let's move on to the political parties and see the candidates or the presidential candidates for these political parties and how they filed their nominations. The first person who filed was Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia from the NPP. Then John Dramani Mahama followed. We had Dr. Ahassan Ayariga of the APC. Bernard Mona of the PNC. He was elected some few days before the filing of nominations and managed to file. We have Kofi Apalo.
Somiha? Not Somiha.
Yes. Kofi Apalo too is there. We have Dr. Daniel Augustus Latte from the GCPP. We have Reverend Christian Kwabena Andrews.
The most successful of the...
In 2020.
Aside the two leading parties.
Yes, in 2020 he came third with his party GUM.
Ghana Union Movement.
Ghana Union Movement. We have Kofi Asamoah Sean of the PPP.
Oh, Kofi is leading
Kofi
the PPP
Asamoah
now.
Sean used to be National Secretary of the PPP, became running mate to Bridget Jagonuku, then finally now has been made
Did Bridget refuse to run or she lost?
I think this time around she didn't run at all. She didn't run at all.
So, selling Zomi is maybe more profitable to sell Zomi. If you want Zomi, you should contact Bridget Jagonuku.
Mohamed Frimpong of the NDP, General Secretary,
Acting National
Chairman, Presidential Candidate.
Nana
Kunedu's party. Ekuadonko also filed her nomination.
The Ghana Freedom Party.
The Ghana Freedom Party. And the CPP's Nana Frimpong Sapon Kuma, who also filed. Of all these presidential candidates, it's obvious who the two leading people are and where the others would be at the end of the elections. Since, at least we are going by data.
Okay.
Since 92, none of them have been able to hit anywhere 6 or 10% of the votes. So for now, we'll put them aside and look at the two leading candidates. Dr. Bawumia, John Mahama, both from the northern region of Ghana. I mean, the northern part of Ghana. One is from the northeast, the other is from the savannah. This was the separation after 2020 or into the 2020 election.
2018.
Otherwise, they would have all been within the northern region as of the time. Their parties are the leading parties in this country. The difference between these people is going to be in the north. So we are going to look at how they have been performing in the northern region from 96.
So all the regions of the north?
All the regions
minus Upper East and Upper West?
This is the northern region.
Okay.
We'll go into the other regions. Because the battleground is going to be in the northern region or the northern part of Ghana where these two people come from. And before I even go ahead, we would look at the data. The data will show you that since 2012, the MPP has been doing well in the north. They've been gaining a lot of votes in the north. Even though the NDC is still winning, then the MPP has continued to do well since 2012. And that was the introduction of Dr. Bawumia as running mate from 2008 into 2012 as running mate of the MPP. So let's assume that Dr. Bawumia has played a major role in the MPP's performance in the northern region. So let's look at the data and what the data says. The election trends, we look at from 96, the NDC had 55.7%, whilst the MPP had 39.8%. You see the votes. In 2000, it dropped, the NDC dropped to 50.8%. to the MPP's 34. So let's look at, you see it. There was a drop from 57 to 50. But the MPP also dropped from 39 to 34, meaning that they were still going down. In 2004, the NDC jumps from 50.8 to 61. The MPP gets 35.6. A little bit, the percentage increase is point something. Then we come to 2008. NDC falls from 61% to 58%. MPP moves from 35.6 to 38.1. But 2008, that was the introduction
of Dr.
Bawumia as running mate of the MPP. Then presidential candidate Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. You realize that there was a bit of an increment in the northern region. Let's fast forward to 2012. The NDC moves marginally from 58.4 to 58.6. 0.2 addition. The MPP moves from 38.8 to 38.1 to 38.8. Also a marginal addition, but the MPP is still going up. The NDC goes up by a 0.2 margin. The MPP goes up by a 0.7 margin. Sami,
So if you want to put flesh
raw
to
figures
in
2012.
So in 2012, the MPP obtained 239,897 votes, and then the NDC came with 345,806 votes, representing the percentage.
The percentage we just mentioned. Let's go to 2016. In 2016, the NDC moves from 58 to 56. A drop of about 2-point-something percentage points. The MPP moves from 38.8 to 41.3.
A significant jump.
About 3% jump. What were the
And the figures were shows that the MPP had 286,868, and the NDC 389,132.
So you see the jump in the figures of the MPP. And this was when Dr. Bawumia was partnering Nana Addo as his running mate. Let's come to 2020. 2020, NDC moves from 56 to 52. MPP jumps from 41 to 46. So you realize that since the introduction of Dr. Bawumia onto the ticket of the MPP has continued to do well within the northern region. As it stands now, always gaining in every election.
So if you put figures to it, in 2020, MPP 399,071 votes, NDC 452,063.
What is the? Let's look at the trends again. 2012, from 2012, the NDC comes down, and it continues to go down. The MPP is climbing up in the northern region, which is now seen as a battleground.
Per the figures available.
Even when you look at the parliamentary seats, they
are
almost apart.
It's 9 seats each year.
So the argument is, since the introduction of Dr. Bawumia, he's changed the dynamics of voting within the northern region. Would that persist in 2024? Would that be the case? The northern region, as we see it now, is going to be a real battleground as to who wins it. Two people from the north looking for the votes of their brethren and sisterin over there. Let's move to the next region. This is the Northeast region.
It was a newly created region.
The Northeast region is the home region of Dr. Bawumia. And let's see how the performance has been. 96, 75%. To MPP's 12.4%. 4%. 2000, 45.1% to 11.3%. So NDC drops in 2000 from 75 to 45. NPP rises from 12. Actually, they drop.
They dropped, yeah.
It drops from 12 to 11. They drop. Yeah. So there was a drop. You realize that when we go to the northern region too, in 2000 there was a drop for both political parties. Yes. In 2004, NDC drops once again from 43.0% to from 45 to 43.0, and the NPP rises to 32.2% in the northeast region.
Yeah.
In 2008, introduction of Dr. Bawumia, NDC rises again, 53.5%. NPP increases again by 35%, but this time around, the NDC's jump is much higher in 2008 when Dr. Bawumia was introduced. The NPP did not lose votes, it increased, but it was very marginal. In 2012, what happened? This was when Dr. Bawumia was known, would describe him as being popular or understanding the Ghanaian political terrain. In 2012, NDC drops from 53 to 52.1. NPP rises from 35 to 44.9 in the 2012 elections. And this is Dr. Bawumia's home region. We go to 2016. In 2016, the NDC falls again from 52% to 48.5%. The NPP overtakes for the first time in 2016 with about a 5% increment, while the NDC dropping with about close to like 7% decrease in terms of percentage.
No, 52 to 4%.
No, yes, 4%. 4%. 4%. Then in 2020, the NPP continues its rise from 49.4 to 51.4. The NDC drops again by another 1 point, which is 47.
And per the figures available by the Electoral Commission, the NPP had 122,742, and NDC made 112,306.
For which year? For which year is that?
That's the 2020.
So what does this trend tell us in the Northeast region, where Bawumia comes from? He's getting stronger and stronger within his own area. Because since he became politically matured in 2012, the party has done well. They've continued to move up and up and up till they overtook the NDC in 2020. So he secured
even in 2016, when NPP won the national elections, the Northeast people still went John Mahama's way.
Yes, they did.
So it was only in 2020 that they decided to finally, as it will fear.
Exactly.
Okay, no, they actually overtook in 2016. That was the first time.
Yeah.
In 2016,
yes,
they overtook.
Even though it was marginal.
It was marginal.
Okay, so it was in 2020 that they made it a little more definite.
Exactly.
Well. Okay.
So in the Northeast region, Dr. Bawumia has secured his home region, and he's continuing to do well within that region.
Okay.
Which looks likely to happen again in the 2024 elections.
Based on the trend.
Based on the trends.
Okay. Let's see.
Let's go to
Mahama's home region.
Mahama's home region, the Savannah region. 1996, 67%. NPP 29.6. 2000, NDC drops from 67 to 57. 57. NDC,
so 10% drop.
Yes, a 10% drop. The NPP moves to 31.
Only
about
2%.
2%. In 2004, NDC comes up again from 57 to 60. They gain 3%. NPP goes up by 2%, which is 33.8%. In 2008, the NDC drops, even though they won the election with John Mahama as running mate. In the Savannah region where he comes from, there was a drop, 60% to 56%.
But it's not the NDC's drop is not even as significant as the NPP's rise.
Exactly.
In that year.
In that year, and the NPP had about a 6% point rise from 33 to 39%, while the NDC dropped
And that was
for
the
about
highest.
4%. That was the highest
The
they've ever
NPP.
had in the Savannah
Savannah
region.
region.
In 2012, and don't forget, in 2008, John Mahama was running mate.
Running mate, yeah.
In 2012, when he became presidential
Right.
candidate, he moves up again from
So you get 7%
56
extra.
to 63, which is the second highest the NDC has had in that region after 1992. What happened to the NPP?
No, it's a third.
Is it
Yeah,
the third? No, it's the second.
So 67 is highest.
Highest, followed by-
64,
By
and then
64.
63.
Yes. There's no 64.
There's
57.
64. In
64, that's
2016.
2016
is 64.
Yes, 2016, yes. So I'm talking about from 1996 to 2012. That was the second highest
Yes, yes.
the NDC had made
After Rawlings.
after Rawlings. 63%. The MPP drops from 39 in 2008 to 34 in 2015, in 2012. This is about a 5 points drop. Then let's come to 2016. John Mahama increases his vote again by a +1, even though he lost that election terribly. In
But his people were still loyal.
in his home region,
He went higher.
He went higher by a 0.1%,
Okay.
whilst the NPP dropped again by 0.1, from 34 to 33%.
Even they won like 3 seats in the Savannah region.
Exactly.
3
Even
out
though
of
they
7.
won in terms of the presidential figures and percentage-wise, the NDC went higher, led by John Mahama. In 2020, what happens? John Mahama drops again from 64 to 63%
In his region.
in his own region.
Baumia rises
Baumia
by 2.
rises, or the MPP rises, because this time was Baumia Nanado.
Okay, so,
but we are looking
the
at
MPP.
Baumia being from the north and driving the campaign at the north. Gaining a 2 percentage point increment in 2020 from 33.4 to 35.2%. So in the Savannah region, even though the NDC has kept the lead for
And has
92,
dominated.
in the last 2 elections, there was an increase.
Okay.
The last election, there was a decrease.
Sami, do you have the raw figures for 2020
So for the raw
for
figures for
Savannah region? I want to see
2020,
something.
for 2020 Savannah region, MPP 80,605, NDC 144,244.
So I asked this because I wanted to compare to the raw votes for Northeast. So it appears Northeast has more population. The population there is higher.
Yes, yes.
So if you do so well in Savannah, yeah, percentage-wise, it may be good. When you come to the raw data, because in 2020, the votes for Northeast were where?
So now in 2020, MPP 122,742, NDC 112,306. So if you do the calculation, you're looking around 350,000 or roughly 400, approximately
No,
400,000.
no,
It can be
120,
30-something thousand.
No, 200 something.
No, so you are doing, so MPP
one-
122,000,
Yes, 120.
741, NDC 112,000,
So
306. So,
So 240. So,
So
less, than
approximately 250.
less than 240,000. And in Savannah,
It was an 8,000 margin.
yes, so in Savannah, I'm just looking at the population.
Okay.
And then in Savannah, it's
in Savannah,
80,
MPP
120.
80,605, NDC 144,244.
So about 220,000. The figures are similar, actually.
Are quite similar.
Yeah, they're
They
similar.
are quite
It's okay.
similar. So
Alright.
let's go to the Upper East region. The Upper East region, what are the figures? 1996, NDC 69, MPP 17. 2000, NDC drops to 49.8, MPP rises to 19%. In 2004, the NDC increases and rises again from 49.8 to 53.3. MPP jumps from 19% to 31.7% in 2004. And this was John Kufuor in the Upper East region. In 2008, the NDC rises from 53.3% to 56.1%. The MPP continues their rise from 31% to 35.3%. In 2012, NDC jumps from 56.1% to 66.4%, which was quite a huge jump in terms of percentage. The NDC and MPP drops in 2012 from 35.3 to 29.3. A significant drop in numbers and percentage.
And Bamia climbed so high. That's about
No, John Mahama climbed
so
high in the Upper East.
In that year. And he won the election.
He won the election in 2012.
So if you look at it, between him and Rawlings had 69%. He polled 66.
66. So he's been the second highest in terms of vote percentage in that place. Then let's come to 2016. What happens? John Mahama falls from 66.4% to 60.3%. The MPP jumps from 29.3 to 34.9%. This another increment, roughly about 3 or 4 percentage increment. Then in 2020, what happens? NDC rises again from 60.3% to 63.3%. That's an MPP maintains a 34, reduces by some points from 34.9 to 34.4.
And in that election, NDC swept all the constituencies except Binduri.
In the Upper East region.
In the Upper East region.
And the figures the EC provided in respect to that election, which is 2020, it says MPP had 175,000 votes, 400, and then NDC 322,317. So you could see the gap in there.
So Upper East is safe for NDC.
Yes, Upper
Savannah
East
region is safe for NDC. NPP has taken over Northeast, and it looks like they may hold a grip onto it.
Yes.
Northern region, we've done that. Have we done Northern region?
Yes, we've done Northern region.
It's
the NDC is leading, but with very marginal points.
Sammy, do you have the raw figures for Northern region? Let's just get that.
Okay, so for Northern region in 2012...
No, 2020.
In 2020, NPP 399,071.
So almost 400,000.
NDC 452,063 votes.
So 50,000 difference. So it's almost neck and neck in Northern region.
In the Northern region.
So
the more reason why people are predicting that's going to be the battleground.
And it's interesting because in the Northern region, they both share the constituencies apiece, 9 each.
9 each.
And then in Northeast, NPP has 4. No, I think they share them 3-3, and then in Savannah region is 4-3. Now,
let's go
we've
to
seen
the
Upper East.
Let's go to the Upper West.
Upper West.
So Upper West 96, 74.6 for NDC, 11.2 for NPP, 2,000, 62.3 for NDC, 15.5 for NPP. There was an increase, there was a decrease for NDC. In 2004, 56.7% for the NDC. The NDC drops again from 62 to 54, 56. The MPP rises from 15 to 32%. In 2008, 54.4% for the NDC. NDC drops again. So when you look at the trend from 96 always, then NDC keeps on dropping in the Upper West region. So 54 to MPP's 37, from 32 to 37. 32 in 2004 to 37 in 2008. In 2012, what happens? There was a jump again. John Mahama, a northern candidate, appears on the ballot sheet. And you realize that with the other regions in 2012, Mahama increases because it was the first time the NDC had brought a northerner as presidential candidate. And he was going against somebody from the south. In 2012, Mahama rises from 54 to 65.5% to MPP's 29.3. There was a drop. What happened in 2016? Mahama drops again to 58.4. After he increased his votes by 65.5, he drops to 58.4% to MPP's 35.9. So in 2016, MPP rises again. And it's explainable, looking at the numbers and the final results in the 2012 elections, in the 2016 election. What happened in 2020? Mahama rises from 58 to 67. MPP drops to 29.
So, Sammy, Fred, it just means that NDC is comfortable in Upper West, Upper East, Savannah, and then MPP is comfortable in Northeast, but the Northern region, they divided. Okay, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
So the North, and when we say the North here, we are using it to mean all the regions, all the 5 regions of the North. We have to go, but I want us quickly to do the polls There were some polls that came through this week.
So this week, two of them have come up. So the first one is by a group known as the SBM Intelligence Group.
Fred, come this way. Let's be there. Yeah.
SBM Intelligence Group, which has done works in South Africa, Nigeria, and some other African countries. For them, there's a prediction for who is going to win the various regions.
Okay, can you give us a national one because of time, for want of time?
Oh, yeah, so I'll just run you
What's their national projection, not the regional?
No, for them, they didn't do national projection. They only did regional.
Okay.
And then which parties are going to win the various regions. So as you have on your screen, so for them, Greater Accra region, NDC is going to win Greater Accra. MPP is going to win Ashanti and Eastern region. And per their polls, they suggest that NDC is going to win the Central, Northern, Western, Volta, and the Upper East region. And then they said MPP is going to win the Bono region. For the Northeast, Western North, Bono East, and Upper West and Uti region, it will go the way of the NDC. And the MPP is likely to win the Hafo region, the Northeast region, and the North-East region. And the NDC will win the Savannah region. So, they say that NDC is going to win 11 out of the 16 regions, and then the MPP will take the race. So this was the first one, which was done by the SBM group. There was another one that was done by the the research department of the Jubilee House. They are predicting that there's going to be a possible runoff because per the figures, they did a sampling size of 25,000 and over, did across all 275 constituencies. And they said that John Mahama and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia are splitting the votes 46.3 for each of the candidates. And they're also predicting that
46.3 each.
Each, yes. And predicting that 4% of the vote will be shared between Alan Chamante and Cheddar, or Nana Kwame Bediako. So they will hold the 4%. And if there's a likely, or they are predicting a runoff, the two individuals may decide which way they want to go, and they may determine who is going to win the election.
But Sandra, when you look at this figures put out on the polls, the regional figures, it gives you a very interesting trend. Look at all the regions the MPP has won. They are mostly Akan-based regions, regions where they have most of their people being Akans. You see the Ashanti region, the Eastern region, the Bono region, the Ahafo region. Most are Akan-based regions.
So these are 5 regions.
These are 5 regions 16. Out of 16.
So but remember, we are in this country when MPP nearly won the national election with just 2 regions.
2 regions.
So even though you win a number of, it depends on the number of votes you also get from there. It would be
interesting to just calculate this and see based on their projection who is in the lead, because you can do that if you do all the national population. But we have to go. Time is not on our side. Thank you so much, Sami Yafi. Thank you, Fred Jabano. My name is Umaru Sanda. I'll be back next week. Thank you.